Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very special Outliers Unlimited. I recognize a lot has been changing in recent months, what with people having to stay at home for health and everything. I recognize that it's hard to have a reason to celebrate or to find any joy or pleasure or sense of pride, especially for people who have disabilities, people who have a hard enough time being able to manage their own lives, to feel like they have control of who they can be or what they can be with their disability or their environment. And believe me, if they have a disability like autism, Asperger's syndrome, Tourette's, environment plays a very big part. Whether it's where you live, family, background of knowledge to prepare you for a career you've always wanted or lack of, it can hurt. But there is something to be proud of, especially in this time of the year, now more than ever. June is known as Autism Pride Month, I've just learned, and this day, June 18th, I've recently learned, is Autistic Pride Day. And it has been celebrated, I believe, since 2005. And I like to think that it is something worth celebrating, considering, like all people of diversity, we have dealt with criticism, ridicule, lack of limited resources, and equal treatment. But we've made great strides, and we have great developments in education, counseling, medication. We have a better awareness. In 1975, if you had disability or you acted differently from everyone else, you weren't rewarded for your gifts, you were punished. People just saw weakness, when nowadays we see gift. People in Temple Grandin, who was one of the first, if not the very first, to speak from experience about the barriers and the strengths and the knowledge, the insight one can have from having a neurodevelopmental disability. And for those who don't know that term, for younger viewers who may be joining us, that means a disability that affects the mind. You think differently from everyone else. In 1975, people were punished instead of rewarded. And nowadays we have awareness groups, we have health centers. For example, I recently just completed a training program called LEND with the KU Medical Center. And it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. It helped provide education, empathy, and people skills involving working with youth with disabilities as well as their parents. And it was very enlightening. And I have great educators. We have people who have specialized in working with these type of people and recognizing their gifts. People like Demi Lovato, Melissa Benoist, who has dealt with anxiety since 13. Demi Lovato had bipolar and has struggled, and has, well, look at her reputation. Accomplished singer, a wonderful actress, and an advocate for people with bipolar as well. And not to mention Temple Grandin spoke out, has been speaking for many years, over 30 at least. And well, we need more people like that. And as you know, I was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome, and well, look how far I've come. I'm going to be 28 soon, and true, there are barriers. We all deal with barriers. and we all struggle, and we all get angry, we get afraid. People don't always treat everyone the same, and it's always because of a reason they don't understand. But that doesn't mean we should block ourselves out. We should want to learn. When it's a reason that we don't choose, we have to be willing to give people the chance. We have the DSM-5, which is a text which explains all diagnoses of mental and possibly physical disabilities that people have struggled with, schizophrenia, all forms of autism, bipolar. I believe there are more than one type. There's more than one type. And well, we've come a lot further in studying developmental as well as physical disabilities. And I'm not saying that we don't have a lot to learn still. I'm saying that we've learned a lot and we've gained a lot for all people. People with disability, people without disability. But that doesn't mean there aren't still high tensions. Mind you, there are places that provide help. There's a group called Kids TLC, nonprofit organization, helps children with traumatized issues. There's a foundation awareness group called the Kansas Youth Empowerment Academy, which has been actually just celebrated 20th anniversary. And this is a very special year for me. I completed my training with them. I was a delegate with them in their leadership forum my senior year in high school, 2010. It was a wonderful thing. I learned more about people like me. I learned about other disabilities. I learned how, yes, we're all different, but I realized what made us the same. And I've learned that even more in college studying social work. I learned about how we all have the same emotions. We all deal with feeling like we can never belong, like we have to measure up to the world, like convention dominates us all, like we can't be anyone unless we're everyone. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people feel that. Like we don't get to decide who we are, everyone else does. And I want you to understand something. I need you to understand something. Your disability, the people in your life, your environment, the situation, they aren't always things you can control. But you can decide who you become. All your barriers, I can't say how long they last, but you decide how long they hold you back. You decide how long they define you. You define you. You aren't your disability. You aren't the world. You are who you choose to be. Your disability only either heightens or expresses you, but you decide who you want to be. And sometimes you need help. We all need help, you know. We have teachers and parents and counselors. We have a lot more people who offer medical and professional help. And I've had to learn a lot about my disability, both from, well, interpersonal skills course, for example, when I was in high school, which helped me gain a lot of social skills. I know how hard that can be, but I've also learned that, you know, it comes with age and also comes with a good environment. You need positive influences. I've had my family, my parents have been blessed with good friends. I can think of a very good few in particular, especially Austin Myers, Justin Pemberton, Danielle Allen, Rachel Ekman, Dylan Durant, and that's just a handful. And I especially want to thank Jessica Shuttler and Sean Swindler and Carrie Greenwood. Oh, and a very special thanks to Mr. Eli Canarak, man who worked with me in study skills and did so much more than that. And a very special thanks to Mr. Kevin Sewer, who works with Blue Valley, and Eric Driscoll, who passed some time ago. If you watch Random Antics, my other channel, after I mentioned him. Bottom line, much has changed in both a lot and not too short of time. We've only made small progress, but it's taken us close to 40 years to gain where we are. But that doesn't mean that we're not making progress. But we still have a ways to go, both for people with disabilities and people without, the whole world. Diversity can come from anywhere. But I recognize diversity. I don't have expertise in diversity, but I do have expertise, or at least experience, in recognizing where it needs to be addressed in people with disability. I recognize my diversity, and I know that we all could use a helping hand. We could use comfort, like this statue. The statue represents a social worker helping people in distress. We need to reach out to each other now more than ever. If you know someone with a disability, or if you're someone with a disability and you know someone who needs you or you need them, I ask you to please find a way to reach out to them, to let them know you need them and you care about them, you thank them, and you can help them if they need you. And for the people who know the people with autism or disability, any kind of developmental barrier, I ask you to please not look at them with your eyes, seeing them as different, whatever behavior doesn't fit the norm. I ask you to please look at them with your heart and see their intentions, and with help, if they can help them find a middle ground, see what they're capable of, what they can offer the world. It took us so long before we did that with just a handful of great people. Maybe you know someone who could be one of the next revolutionaries, who could change the way we look and see life for the better. That's why I'm here. Not to be one of them, but to encourage us to recognize them. Could be anyone in the world. My last thing I want to address is medication. Not everyone needs it, but it can definitely help. If you have ADHD or sometimes the compulsion or the disability, it can take over, it can hurt you. And well, it can help when we have something to kind of neutralize it or keep it calm, like hyperactive energy, something I've learned a little bit about. Let me put it this way, it's sort of like the person we are. I'm not saying the medicine brings this out. I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is that it can help people better clearly see this person. The medicine helps focus on the person we want to be, helps us gain better control. The medicine is more of a tool. The medicine is not us, it is a tool. And some people need it, some don't. But for those who find they benefit from it very well, it can kind of help us find our center. It can kind of neutralize all the excessive energy and need to talk and things, and kind of help us find our focus. It worked with me when I was a kid, and it's working now. We all need a little help, in more ways than one. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you, and please take pride in whatever your accomplishments, however small they may seem compared to everyone else. Believe me, all the accomplishments in your life, you did that. No one else, you. No, we have. because we have stood together. We need to look out for each other. And I want to thank you for joining me. And I know how hard it can be, feeling like you're on your own. You are not. There's someone else, maybe not just like you, but who has the same challenges. We need to look out for each other. And I want you to recognize every degree you earned, every challenge you ever conquered, or grade you got through, every school you managed to graduate from, every job you got, every piece of education you've received or opportunity you've gotten, you earned that. You earned that. Whatever challenges you faced, you conquered them or you overcame them, and you did that. No one can take that away from you. And I want you to recognize that. Thank you all. Have a great day. And I want to thank you for joining me on Outliers Unlimited.